spelling?
The initials of my first name and
Yeah, just,
Raymond Scholten. Is that what you want?
right.
Raymund.
Okay.
And you can
It's
Scholten.
When were you born?
1898, February 22nd, 1898.
Okay. And where were you born?
Sedalia, Missouri.
Almost forgot this. Too many things.
Sedalia.
Okay, you were born in Sedalia, Missouri, February 2nd, 1898.
February 22nd.
Oh, 22nd, okay.
George Washington and I was pretty close one night.
Who were your parents?
Mr. and Mrs. Fred Scholten, is that the way you want it?
Yeah, and then you might give me your mother's maiden name.
Well, it'd be Fred and Alma. Oh, her maiden name.
Mm-hmm. I'll come back to you later, that's fine.
She was a Shear.
Shear.
Mm-hmm.
S.
I don't know. Scheer, I guess.
Okay, and her first name was Alma.
Mm-hmm.
Where were they from?
Well, they met in St. Louis in a blind school. They were both blind.
Really?
Pictures of them up there. You can see that after a while when you take a notion.
Okay.
She was blind since she was 5 years old. She had two measles and something else settled in her eyes. I guess they couldn't do nothing about that. I don't know what.
What did they do for a living then?
Well, my dad sold rooms for Windsor Broom Company.
And where was that at?
The Windsor Broom Company was at Windsor, Missouri.
And you say you were born in Sedalia?
Mm-hmm.
So how did he come from Windsor to Sedalia?
Oh, they sent him the brooms, and he went on around over the country.
Oh, he traveled.
Yeah.
How did he travel if he was blind?
Well, he's blind in one eye,
Oh, okay.
and both of them are bad, but he could see with the one eye, and my mother was blind. You couldn't tell it. Her eyes were brown. You couldn't tell she was blind.
Huh.
But she had some kind of a disease, and I forgot, measles and something else. And they both settled in her eyes. 5 years old. I guess they didn't know nothing about eyes then. What, I don't know.
Do you know what year your parents were born?
No.
Okay.
Oh, Rosie.
Yeah. When you were born in Sedalia, did you live there for a while?
I lived there till I was about 13.
13. So you went to school in Sedalia for a while?
Mm-hmm. I was in the 7th grade when I left there.
And then where did you go from the 7th grade?
Went over to McKittrick, Missouri, Montgomery County, across the river from Herman.
McKittrick?
Mm-hmm.
McKittrick, Missouri.
There ain't much of a town there now. There ain't
What
much.
was the county's name, Raymond?
Montgomery County.
Okay. And what did you do in McKittrick County?
I was working on a farm. Some fella jumped my dad on, he was talking about getting somebody to help him on the farm.
What was it like working on a farm at that time?
Golly, it was horse and plows, horse and mules, and that was it. There wasn't no machinery at all. But he put me to driving. He come out there one day, and we had plowed up a field, and he put me on with a harrow it down, you know. And that's just a flat bar with pins on it. And he was going to give me a young mule to break. So I told him, I said, well, if that dude acts up and gets back in this thing, he can get hurt pretty bad. But we put the mule with its mother, and we went along all afternoon. I plowed that, I harrowed her down. I had good luck. I never did have no trouble out there on that farm. You'd rake up your hay sit up there and just trip what you rake up, you trip it. You just have a whole string in the field when you get through. And I kind of liked it, except the milking, and I had to do some milking.
How much did you get paid for that work in those
I don't
days?
get paid. I had no pay to it. They were taking care of me. I got to go to school and come home and start doing my chores around there. He had a big barn about a block from the house up on the knoll. And we filled that dude with some cowpeas.
Huh.
And we put them in there a little early. Well, I got up one morning and looked up there, and smoke was just coming out of that dude, you know. So we hurried up and got up there, and he says, get your pitchfork. We got up there in that loft, and we turned that stuff over. I couldn't tell him to pull that fork out of my hand. I got hold of it and couldn't get loose. But we got her. She just a smoking. You'd think she's going to burn down everything. Wasn't burning nothing. It was just heat. Smoke just coming out of it.
Do you remember the farmer's name?
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. Foreigner's his name. Let's see, what was his first name? Well, what happened, he was some relation to my mother. She was, his wife was. Otto Foreigner.
Foreigner?
F-A-H-R-N-E-R, I think.
Okay. How long did you work on his farm?
I think about 3 years.
3 years?
Mm-hmm.
That had made you about 16 then.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do then?
Well, I wrote to some folks up in Sedalia. They lived across the street from us when we was living in Sedalia, and he was a contractor. And I wrote him a letter up there and asked him if there's any chance of me getting a job up there, you know. I didn't mean with him, but anywhere. Well, see, I got a letter from her, and she says, I got your room all fixed up and ready to go. So I stayed with them for a year or so.
Who was that?
Ain't that something?
What did you do for them?
Just helped him around. The big thing was we built a schoolhouse at Hughesville, and me and one other fellow, If that's in your way, but that's all right. We cut the concrete for that foundation by hand. You cut that on a board with a shovel. You never seen it. That was too far for you back. Well, that's what they'd do. They'd put 3 wheelbarrows full of gravel and 1 wheelbarrow full of sand and a sack of cement. And be on there like that, you know, and you'd come at one end and one boy'd be over here and one over here, and we'd shovel and turn that stuff over, mix it up, and we went all from around with that foundation on that schoolhouse.
So you were pouring the foundation solid, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we done everything. He built houses. He tore down houses. I was working there with him, and he was pretty wealthy. The old boy had money, you know. He had a 5-gated horse, and that horse was a colt when I left there. I used to take the colt and his mother out to a pasture where he had rented out of town. It was about 8 blocks, I guess. And after school, why, it was my job always to go out there and get them and bring them home overnight. Well, that dude was a 5-gated horse when I got back up there. And I'd ride him out to Liberty Park. They'd have a band out there. And you ought to see that dude step when that band goes.
So he was in the construction business? Okay. So after the 1.5 years you spent with him, where did you go?
I don't know for sure. From then on, I've been doing everything.
When was it that you enlisted in the Navy?
I was, let's see, I'm trying to think how old I was when I come out. I think I was 19. I was living here then.
Oh, you were living in Jeff City when you enlisted in the Navy?
Yeah. I think her name was Church, Mrs. Church. Did you ever know him? The church lived on Madison Street.
Oh, you lived with somebody in the name of Mrs. Church?
No, she took us in the service.
Oh.
Signed us up. Then we had to go to St. Louis and be examined.
Now, why did you enlist in the first place?
Where?
No, why?
Why? Well, I was working for the express company. That's what I was doing. I was working for Wells Fargo. When, and we'd go across the old bridge. Remember our old bridge? We'd go across the bridge on Sundays. The American Express Company was here then. And me and that boy would generally meet up before we went across that, and we'd race across that bridge, see who got over there first.
Okay. So,
and then there was 9 of us left there. Otto Neiman, you remember him. And just
put you there.
Otto Neiman.
But do you remember why you all enlisted at that time?
No. But I thought as we crossed that bridge, that's where I got the idea of going in the Navy. I wasn't going to walk out there in all that mud in the Army, so I was going to take the Navy. And there was 9 of us left. Otto Neiman he was the last one. He stayed and went in World War II. He wanted me to go with him. My wife wouldn't let me.
Now, when you enlisted in Jeff City, you say crossing the bridge, were you on your way to be examined at that time?
No, I was going across over to meet the train on Sundays for the trains on Katy and the what was that little old train used to go to Fulton over there?
I know it was before my time, but I remember people talking about it.
Well, anyhow, we went across there on Sundays together. We'd go every day and meet it, but on Sundays we'd go together and then we'd race across, see who'd get over there first.
Well, you mean foot races?
American. No. We had teams and wagons,
Oh, okay.
express wagon.
Okay, I see. While you're working for Wells Fargo.
Yeah. And he was working for American.
Oh, okay, competitor.
So there was 2 of us here. Oh, let's see. I can't think of his name. He used to drive for them.
But after, or backing up a little bit, what was it like around Jeff City when the World War I first broke out? You know, before you enlisted.
Well, that was, Mulberry was pretty close to the limit east. Bolivar Street was pretty close to the limit west. Well, there were still buildings outside of that, but then there wasn't too much out around there. And Dunklin here was next, south. There wasn't much this way.
Do you remember any parades or speeches or Liberty Bond sales or things like that?
No, we had a carnival that'd be on Dunklin Street.
Oh, okay.
And there was a little old parkway out there by the water company. I can't think of the name of it, so they ain't no use mentioning that. But they used to have some kind of little old rides out there, and they didn't amount to much. But Dunklin Street was pretty full of stuff. Ferris wheels and merry-go-rounds. A lot of stands where you could throw a ball and either get something or get out.
After you enlisted, you said they sent you to St. Louis?
I had to go to St. Louis to be examined.
And where was that at? In St. Louis, I mean.
I don't know where it was. It's some Army station. And the funny part of that was, Otto Neiman was a pretty good-sized boy. And he had to go out and told the boy to go out and eat bananas. To walk around town and eat bananas, come back at 4 o'clock so he could get his weight up. And he come back and weighed the same thing, and he ate bananas all day. Well, he's all helping him eat these bananas, so I guess that didn't help him any. So those boys come to Depot to see me off. I was the only one that passed. I can't think of who they are. And we left there in an old leather seat coach, you know. You could have the windows up and cinders would come in. Man, we were dirty when we got over to Seattle.
Did you leave Jeff City by train?
No, left St. Louis.
How did you get from Jeff City to St. Louis?
You know, I don't remember. Well, we all went down there. I guess they sent us down there on a train. There's a lot of trains then. Damn, there's passenger trains here.
When you left,
We left. We went on train.
do you remember anything about the depot? Was there a send-off or anything? People there?
No,
You left?
no. Well, I guess no. Outside of the boys that were on, there was 40 of us in this car. So I guess their people was there. I didn't pay no attention to them.
Were those fellows all from this area? Those 40?
Out of St. Louis or out of Missouri. I guess
see.
that's what it was.
When you left St. Louis by train, was that at Union Station?
Yeah, out of St. Louis.
Was there a lot of troops leaving at the same time, or just you?
No.
Your 40?
Just, that's all I could figure out was that 40.
Were they all sailors?
No, it was going to be sailors. But that's another funny thing. We got there and went in and got cleaned up, shaved and hair cut and everything. I never seen one of them monkeys anymore. They cleaned up. I didn't know them. They were so dirty when we went out there, we knew everybody. When they cleaned us up, got in those daggone uniforms, I never did see them, but I remember.
What were your uniforms like?
How am I going to tell you? There's a blue outfit. We had the midi shirt, blue pants, and we had to buy our own clothes. And I had trouble getting a pair of shoes that would fit. I took mine back 2 or 3 times. I told them I couldn't walk in them things.
Did they give you the uniforms in St. Louis, or did you get them after you?
No. That's after you got in Bremerton.
So you went all the way from St. Louis to Bremerton by train in one jump?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was something. They would, to start with, they have a little old board cut out like a gun. We'd walk around with them things, keeping.
Marching.
No, we wasn't marching. We was on duty, guard duty, and that's what we had. Damn steak. And how I slipped around there. They was giving them all kinds of shots and things, and I was skipping around, and I missed a lot of them. I got by with it. But it was...
What sort of training did they put you through once you got to Bremerton?
Well, we done a lot of drilling. And they picked a bunch of us out of there and took us down to the water and put us in them boats. We were going to train us for boat.
What kind of boat?
Regular boats that you see on these big boats for safety.
Oh, like a lifeboat?
Lifeboats, I couldn't think of it. There was 8 of us on each side of it, and we had to row them damn things around over there, And some of us got pretty good, and I got in on it. And we used to race. We'd race with one another out there, but then we got to racing the officials there in Seattle. And they're over there, and they raced on their lakes that they got in Seattle, you know. Seattle's full of lakes. But it was smooth over there, and come over where we were, it's pretty rough. And we beat them there. We go where it was smooth for us, and we beat them again. Oh, I got a big kick out of that. That was about all that, outside of we had to go 9 miles to the, take our rifles anyhow.
On a march, you mean, or you said 9 miles?
We went in boat.
A boat.
Everything's water around there. You can't hardly get nowhere. So we row up there, and we got there on Saturday. And damn, them boys got mad because we come in there and they were supposed to go on liberty. And they fussed around there. And they finally decided to give us a go-around. And I made mine right off. I'd been squirrel hunting before, you know. And they'd stand us up and lay us down. And they was trying to run us through so they could get going on their time off. And I think they kept a bunch of them over there. Well, he come by and I was laying down there. He kicked me on the shoe. He said, you can get up. And he gave me my paper and I brought it back. I made my gunner's degree right quick. And he kept some of them over there. They wanted to go on liberty. That's what they wanted, to go over to Seattle. They was pretty mad at us. But I got that tended to right quick. Well, I didn't have to go back no more. But I don't know. I had fun wherever I went.
How was the food when you were in the Navy?
Pretty good, except on Wednesday morning.
What was that?
Hard-boiled eggs. And them bastards was throwing them eggs all around there. You don't know who's going to get hit. And I didn't go.
Oh, you skipped it?
I skipped Wednesday morning. Well, the first time I went, the first time I got into that, there was eggs just flying everywhere. I knew I wasn't going back no more. When I found out it was on every Wednesday morning. But we never did get any sugar.
Because of the war?
I guess something. We didn't have any sugar. And we were in tents.
Tents, huh?
They didn't have, they had enough people out there, had cabins all taken up. And I was there's another boy with me in the tent. I don't know where he was from, kind of up north like, and he liked that air. The rest of them boys, in the evenings, it got pretty cool up there, you know, and they'd let their tent sides down. He said, let's keep ours up. What do you say? I said, it's all right with me. And we did that. That monkey, he wasn't going to worry about the weather.
What size tents were they?
Big enough for 2 cots.
And what color were they?
Just regular tent, regular tent color. They wasn't blue, there wasn't nothing like that. They was just like going buying a tent and putting it up.
So was it a tan like canvas or was it?
Canvas tent.
Did you ever get out of the tent to better quarters while you were there?
No. We never did get in any other quarters. No. There was one thing they would do to us. They would call us out at night, some stormy night. It was having raining or something. It didn't snow up there, you know. It'd be a stormy night. They'd call us out there fire drill. Everybody, they had the fussing and cussing, the candle tickled me. I got fun out of that too. They'd do that every time it rained. They'd call us out on fire drill. And we did lose some tents too. We did have some fires once in a while.
Did you have little stoves in them, or?
No, wasn't no stove. But we'd keep our clothes clean to press them, get them in order. We'd press them out like they should be and fold them up, put them under your mattress, and you pressed them yourself. That's the way you pressed them.
Did you have any inspections?
No, not too many. It would no, wasn't no inspection to bother any. Well, they'd call us up for shots again, for something or other, you know. I'd work like the dickens to miss that one, and I missed most of them.
Now, once you were through with your training, did they assign you to a unit?
You don't know what you're going to do. They'd be calling for volunteers, you know. I thought I'd see what's going on. I volunteered for one. And I had to go down to, now I thought, was I talking to you on the phone?
Mm-hmm.
I thought of that last night.
Oh, yeah?
Where's the ball team that's got a team over in Southern California?
Oh, the town he's talking about.
About Los Angeles Angels or
No, it's below them, way down.
San Diego?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I thought of that last night again. Now I forgot it. San Diego. We had to go down there and got a boat.
That was a long ways, wasn't it?
That was a submarine.
Well, you got a submarine.
And we brought it back up there.
So did you actually man the submarine, or?
No, we just come on it, and they had an inspector on there, a little bitty fellow. Well, he fits them pretty good because you had to duck down to go in the damn doors. You couldn't. And our skipper took us down there. He stopped it. It was only supposed to go to 70 feet, I believe. Now then, they'd pick them out from them planes, you know, just like picking berries out of a basket. But he stopped us when it got to 70 feet.
So you were down under the water in the submarine?
Yeah, and this little inspector come flying through the room. Who shut that off? Who shut that off? Well, we didn't know, guess the commander did. And he hunted him up. We went down 125 feet, and you could hear them bolts and things cracking every now and then. Everybody was scared with me, and I got tickled at them. They didn't know what in the world he was. And he let us come up then. We had to come up. But when he put that down to 125 feet, that was as far as he wanted to go, too. You could feel that thing pop, and she just wouldn't give like they do now.
How long did that trip take?
It didn't take too long. Let's see. I don't remember. But we was on there long enough for 2 or 3 meals. I guess that would be 2 or 3 days almost, probably. Coming back with it. Mm-hmm. We went down there sailing in a submarine chaser. '09 was it. And the submarine was '02.
How wide was it when you were inside?
Oh, I don't know, about as far from here to the wall, seems to me like. I don't think it was any wider than that. You'd have everything up against the wall, and you had the runway down through the middle. But Laverne, Donna's, you remember Laverne, Elsie's boy, Cecil's sister. He had to hurry up and get home. He joined. And he got home and he says, Uncle Raymond, didn't you say you was on the O2? I said, yeah. He said, I told him you was on there. He says, they had him, checked him out too. But he come back as a lieutenant or something. But that was Second War.
I see.
They was using that one over east.
The same submarine they were using in the Second War.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think they just use it for training.
Yeah.
They couldn't take it out and let somebody take a shot at it. They'd hit it. Lord.
What else did you do up in Bremerton there?
That's about all. I can't think of anything else that's fit to.
What was your rank in the Navy?
How do you call that? I was 1, 2, 3. I was in second. How in the hell did they call that? I got my discharge paper in my pocketbook.
Oh, well, we'll get that in a little bit.
I don't think it tells what. I was only in second class sailor.
Okay. But did they ever give you a designation as a unit while you were up there?
No. Well, no. I stayed right there at the camp.
Did the camp have a name besides Bremerton? Was there a special name for it?
If they do, I don't remember it.
Okay. Were you up at Bremerton when the war ended?
Yeah. We was over at Seattle, went over there, and we took one of the sub chasers over there and got some fuel and some other stuff. And see that? We was monkeying around on that sub chaser, put anti-aircraft up, gun. Of course, me, I had to be the first one in there with them, and I was standing behind it, and they wound it up runner-up, and this whole damn thing come back on, and it wasn't locked. And they hit me on the shin. And they didn't know what to do with it, you know, and there wasn't no doctors on or nothing. But they wrapped that thing up and poured a bottle of iodine on it. So we got back over to camp, you know, and I had to go to the doctor with it. And he got me down there like he's getting a pair of shoes. He unwrapped that thing and looked at it, you know, and he hit it on both sides to bust that open. Mm-hmm. I could have kicked him in the jaw. I couldn't get the other foot up. But I guess I done it better than that. That's as quick as he could do it. And then I run around from then on, all boogered up. So I didn't have to do nothing. I couldn't walk. I kept on. I could go to Seattle though. Then we was there 9 months, and then was quickest, and we was in Seattle at that time when the war ended. And the time we got back, and I got my leg so I could go walking pretty good, they'd send us home. And I don't know, they didn't have nothing for us to do, I imagine, and we got out early. Mm-hmm. But I guess I got in about the right time so I could get home.
Do you remember what it was like in Seattle when people found out the war was over? Was there any celebration or anything?
Yeah, there was celebration. They was carrying on, had a big parade. And from the camp, that's one little job I had, I forgot to tell you. I went up in this plane, of course, and we had a whole bunch of chipped papers. It looked like wheat sacks full of papers on this plane, you know. And that's one of them old planes. Hell, you could see down where you was going. You didn't have no floor there. And we had these papers on that parade. We dumped that paper out on and let it fly around. That's as far as I got with my sailor ship.
You remember what kind of plane it was?
No.
Remember if it had one wing or two wings?
I had two wings.
Okay. Single engine?
Single engine. And you could see where you was going, that's for sure.
What were the wings and the body of the plane covered with?
No, Lordsy, don't ask me that. I don't know what this covered with. What do you mean?
Like the skin of the plane.
Oh. I don't know. I just guess it was... I guess I can't answer that. I don't know what a new one's made of, what these are made out of now.
Aluminum.
Aluminum?
What? How did you get that job?
I think this was volunteer. Every time I volunteered for something, it was something silly.
Did the plane, was it on the base there, or where did it come from?
Yeah, we had that on the base.
Okay.
And I don't know that they used it for anything but running back and forth somewhere. But I volunteered and got in on that. And there was room on this dude for 2 of us. I think we had 6 sacks of that stuff. And they were tied on, or they'd have fell out. So we just dumped, I guess we dumped 3 apiece. And we'd go along and scatter that stuff out and let it go. Throw the sack back up in the seat in the back.
How high were you above the parade when you were dumping this stuff out?
Well, high enough to not hit no buildings. That old boy was doing all right for that. We was up just about, well, that paper was flying all over creation. That's what they wanted anyhow. I guess it wanted for snow. It don't snow out there, you know. And there was a little come while I was out there. Remember the Heinrich's food? Well, that Heinrich's boy was out there.
Oh.
And he found out I was there by hearing my mail called off when they called the mail out. And he hunted me up, and he was working in the kitchen. Oh, damn, he was plumb silly. But he was, that's the only one ever I seen from here.
He's the one to boil those eggs on Wednesday morning, you know.
More than likely. I don't know. He was washing dishes, I think. But they had a washing machine there. They run that stuff through pretty fast.
Tell me about your trip home after the war was over.
We met, getting too hot?
Just take that out of the way here.
I hope all I said wasn't on that thing. What'd you ask me? Oh, putting near every depot we stopped, they was there to feed us.
Who fed you?
Salvation Army.
Salvation Army.
Yeah.
Did they have any brass bands or parades?
No, didn't see nothing like that. But, well, there wasn't no special train for us. I don't know how come, but they was out there to pass. If you had a uniform on, you got something. That's what I'll say.
What happened to your uniform?
The gals took it away from me. We're here in town.
Which gals was that?
Around here, whoever knew me,
Oh.
they all wanted some of it. You didn't know. Hell, I can't even think of his name. Is my dad's wife's brother. Madden, that's who he was. O'Donnell Madden, did you ever know him?
Never did.
Well, you didn't miss nothing. He's retired from, he was out of high school, sitting down there doing nothing. I come in here and got a job. I run into the old man up there on the street. He wanted me to come out and meet the family. But he married again, you know. Mm-hmm. And that house right there was where she come from. And they was living down there on that corner house. Well, he brought me out here and they monkeyed around and coaxed me into staying here.
I can shut it off here.
And answering that phone, and there's always a wrong number. He said, "Is Margaret there?" I said, "Who? Margaret?" "Oh," I said, "she just left." Boy, I'll bet she caught it when she got wherever she's going. Okay, so I hung up. He did too. They're always asking for somebody. I just thought, well, I'll send her somewhere.
When you got back into Jefferson City, was it at the depot here?
Yeah,
Was there anything going on there at the depot when you came in?
yeah.
Tell us about that.
I went in there in the express office. I was going to get my job back, you know. I went in there and sat there. We got in there sometime in the night. I crawled up on the platform they had there for the freight that comes in, went to sleep till daylight, and then I come home, and I didn't have no job no more. Kids out of school, they took those jobs. So one of the officials come in and says, Raymond, I'm going to take you up to Kansas City. Would you like to go up there and go to work? I said, I don't care, just so we go to work somewhere. But I found out that I wasn't going to work there. I went up there, and the Kansas City station was there then, you know. It's gone. On the base, they run a big truckload of freight in there, and some monkey get up on there, and he knew where it was going. And around the wall, the great big damn room, around the wall there was pens there, numbered. And you go up to and there's a line of us. We go up to that truck in there. He give you a package, tell you what number to take it to. You march on, somebody come behind you, you know. I walked myself to sleep most of the time, and it wasn't long till they turned me loose for that. I didn't want no more of that, and I don't know what all I've done since then. I come back and went to work on the fire department, I think.
What year was that?
It was in the 20s, early 20s.
What was the Jeff City Fire Department like at that time?
Well, when I got there to it, they had just got rid of the horses. And they had this truck. That's the one I got to drive first. And my fire chief at that time was a boy I went to school with over at McKittrick. And the teacher sent him home from school one afternoon. She had him get up, answer a question for her. He just stood there. He couldn't answer it, you know. She said, well, if you ain't going to do nothing, you might as well go home. He picked up his stuff and went home. I got here, and here he was, fire chief. So I got a job right quick.
What kind of truck was it that you drove?
Seagrave. I don't know. I think they've got one here yet now, one of the new ones.
Was that a new truck at that time?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this would have been a 1920-something
Yeah.
Seagrave. What kind of wheels?
Solid tires. Solid rubber tires, chain drive. And your dashboard's up here like a wagon. You'd shift over to second gear, you know, you look down and see the crank. You had to crank that dude. And
How fast did it go?
well, it didn't go too fast. It's about like some of these ambulances. You hear them coming down the road, you know, and they're doing 90 miles an hour with that whistle. They ain't doing over 10. So the viaduct down here, another funny thing, the viaduct was just a block long. She was just straight up and right over, you know. Old man Bruner was up there at the station one evening. It was dark, but it was early. And we got a call out in the West End. We took him up that viaduct down there. And of course, front wheels went up and down and bounced that like lost the old man. He was standing on the back, you know. He come around. He says, Raymond, you like to lost me. I said, well, didn't them boys hold you? Yes, he said, they caught me. But that was pretty sharp doings. You got a long ways to go now. Mm-hmm. But just to go up a block, you was up pretty steep, and we went up there.
Where was the fire station when you first came to work?
Right up there in, who's the clothing store, man? Herman's building.
On High Street?
We were to one side. The city clerk was on the corner part of it. Mm-hmm. We just had enough room to get the truck in and walk on both sides of it. And the police station was above us, and then the Reserve Civic offices were up above on the third floor.
Did you sleep there?
Yeah. And while I was working on the railroad, I never did give up my bed. I worked about 3 years on the railroad.
You mean express?
No, on railroad. I was firing on the road. When I'd come in, I'd go in there and get my bed. I never did take my bed out of there. They never did bother with it.
So you were sleeping in the fire department while you were working for the railroad?
Yeah.
And you were a fireman on the railroad?
Yeah.
What railroad?
Missouri Pacific.
Missouri Pacific.
But I didn't have no trouble getting back on. I was already home.
Well, why did you leave the fire department and go on the railroad?
Well, I got fired. I can't think of his name now. That's another thing. But he was a caller. And he had that phone number for up there. And he wanted me to come for the 3 o'clock switch engine. And I was cut off the board. So I said, well, I can't come at 3 o'clock because they was putting me at 3 then. I said, I'm working here for one of the boys and he's down the street and I don't know where he is. And I said, as quick as he comes back, I'll come down. No, I want you for 3 o'clock. I said, you better call somebody else. Call what was Doc Joseph's boy's name? I forgot it.
This was the railroad man you're talking
about. Yeah. That and Peachy. I said, why don't you call them? He says, I've called them. I said, I knew you had. You call everybody but me, and then if I can't get nobody, I got to come. So I won't be there till I can get ready. Next morning, they come down from upstairs and asked me for my key and my book. That's all there was to it. And then in 29, they tried to get me to come back.
Oh.
I didn't go back.
This was the train?
Yeah.
Okay. So why did you leave the fire department to go to the railroad?
Just trying it out, see whether I'd like it or not. Okay. If I could have stayed on there, them old timers, they didn't quit like they do now. They quit now for anything. Mm-hmm. But they was having something up at Eldon. I forget they had a name for it, you know. I don't know what it was. That's how come they called me for that, because everybody was up there, I think. But they turned me loose, and I went on. Didn't bother me. Well, I just stayed there on the fire department and went to work.
That was 1929.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 29's when they come from the railroad come for me to come back to work. I went off about 1923 or 4.
Did you have a dog at the fire department?
I had a dog, a bird dog, a damn good one.
But I mean, did the fire department have a dog? Did you have a brass pole?
I had the dog, yeah, we had the brass pole. I had the dog and he stayed there with me.
Oh, he stayed at the fire department.
Hell yeah.
What was his name?
You got me again. I tell you what, one of these highbrows here in town had the dog, and they thought he was getting too old for him, and they was going to get some new dogs to hunt with. Mm-hmm. And he comes up there I can't think of the name of it, what was the store that burned? Furniture store.
Why not?
Yeah, this was a furniture man. I said, well, I'll take him. Okay, you can have him. And the dog was up there half the time, so he didn't get aggravated. You could take that dog out, be across the pasture there from him, and he'd stand there and look at you. And if you wanted to go this way or this way, you'd point over it. And damn, he'd go that way to start his hunting again. He'd already hunted out and didn't know which way to go. Oh, we was going that way. We'd just point over there.
Did he go on the fire truck with you any?
No. No. No.
What were the uniforms like from the fire department then?
Well, you didn't have a uniform unless, at that time, unless you got in your ones that you're going to fire. Your pants are rolled down over your boots. You step in your boots and pull your pants up. And we got a new man. We'd cut his pants legs off here, and set him up there for old Holt Street. He got caught the first thing, He pulled his pants up and it was cold. And we went out in there. He went all the way with his butt hanging out. Oh, he was hot, but it didn't do him any good. And then the Bo Joneses, one of his boys, and Hymeks, remember the Doc Hymeks and his boy, they'd come up at the station. Every once in a while, they'd say it's going out, they'd put a cup of water in the boots as they go by, We had to watch them when they was up there, or we'd all catch it. But see the trust company put Home Street on, Home Street owed them $8,000. That's the only way they could get their money, put him to work at the fire department. And the bastard got assistant chief. And he didn't know one end of the... He never picked up a hose. He never picked up an axe. He never done nothing for 24 years.
24 years.
That's what you get when you could retire. That's how come that they come to me. They had the meeting out there at the station. And I can't think of his name now, but anyhow, he come to me. He said, Raymond, do you want to retire? I said, well, I think so. I was 65 then. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I let her go. Well, he said, if you don't now, I'll not even report you. I said, yeah, I'll go. And Horn Street went up to trust company the next day, or maybe he called them that night. I don't know. And they got a hold of it some way, and he could work. I don't know, because that was in cold weather. But we could work till July. Old John Sullivan come to me and says, what are you going to do? Well, I said, I'm retired now. But he says, Horn Street's going to work till July, so you come back. So I got to work till July, too.
What year did you retire from the fire department?
63.
1963.
Mm-hmm.
That was 40 years altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Was that? Would you go on like in 1920, and then that doesn't count those 3 years you're on the railroad?
Mm-hmm. No, they were scratched off.
So really, it's from the time you started to the time you quit was 43 years.
Yeah.
Time passed. Okay. Huh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could have taken the other 3 years that I worked up there. I went on a lot of fires while I was working on the railroad.
Tell us about some of those fires.
Well, when Sullivan was fire chief, I was put near the first one to go into a fire. He'd never go in. And I always liked to go in, and I wanted to see what I needed. And I could tell them to either bring me a booster line or the big line. And that was, they'd stand around and wait for me to go in. And we had one boy that drove the truck. He was always wanting to borrow 12 years from me so he could retire. I said, well, you wouldn't retire if you got 12 years. So I let you have 12 years. You wouldn't retire when you get it. Yes, I would. I stayed on there long enough to see that he didn't, because I don't know how long. I don't know how long I'd been before the brewery was running the truck from Chicago to Memphis. And he got that job if he'd retired. Mm-hmm. And that's when he retired to take that, because he loved to drive them damn big trucks. And it wasn't all there but 2 or 3 years they took the truck off. Now he's blind. It's old Clarence Beck, do you know him?
Yes, certainly.
He can't see. Fred Putman was a good mechanic and kept up a lot of our trucks. And he's blind.
Well, that Clarence Beck finally became a captain.
Well, after I left, they just boosted them all up. Just went to hell, and there wasn't nobody. I could have been fire chief, but he wasn't getting $5, $10 more than we were. I told him I didn't want it. I'd just take the fire assistant fire. I was assistant fire chief 30 years out of the 40. Because one fireman, one fire chief had a tractor. Mm-hmm. He'd go across the river and help them farmers do their farming. Plow for them, cut their hay, cut their corn with his tractor. Raymond, I'll be across the river. I'm going over there.
Did you ever get caught when the fire came and he was across the river? Or?
I don't think so. I don't remember it anyhow.
What fire stands out the most in your mind? All the ones you've been at, those 40.
I don't know. There was one that we saved 2 boys. It was out on, way out on the east end of town. Who was the dairy out there? The milkman.
Landwehr?
No.
Goldhammer?
Anyhow, some of his relation was at this house. He put his car in had the garage under the house, and the daggone thing caught fire. The kids was on that room where the car was, and damn place was smoking all over. It was pretty heavy. Well, we put a window up to his, put a ladder up to his window, and we got those 2 boys out. And after they took them to the hospital, they had marks of the floorboards on their belly. They was close to something. But we got them out. And they used to send us a cake every Christmas.
The Madison Hotel, were you at that one?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was over at New Bloomfield when that happened. That wasn't my shift at all. All these fires hasn't been on my shift. Now, that's a fact. But we were called in. Now, if you're called in, you get overtime pay. All we'd get was a fuss at them because they couldn't take care of the fires, you know. You ought to hear them go. We was over at New Bloomfield, wife's brother-in-law lived over there. And here come the Fulton truck passed by. We was right there along the road. I said, well, Lawsy, let's see if we can see where they're going. Looked over here and I seen all that smoke. Well, I told Cecil, I said, we better go. Maybe it's something we might need. So I got over here and I worked all night that night until 5 o'clock the next day, and Ferd turned all the rest of them loose in the morning, kept me there with him. We lost a man there, but we went to his room and he wasn't in there. And how come he went to another man's room to shave? So we didn't know where he was. We lost him. But now that daggone building, there was a beer joint, whiskey joint underneath there in one of the rooms right there close to the. He didn't have to move, and some of that stuff blowed clear up to the post office. Some guy said it's a slab of that roof on his car. He took it home to save it. And the lumber yard was right behind the hotel. Didn't have no trouble with that.
What started the fire?
I don't think anybody knows. I don't think it was ever reported. But it went up the elevator shaft. And Harry Rydell and I was just in there, and we was inspecting. We told them to take those holly things and decorations, Christmas decorations, take them down, get them out of there. Whether they did or not, I don't know.
So was it around Christmas when it burned?
Oh, the picture there of
sitting there now.
The picture, what the hell did you ask me?
Well, you said it was around Christmas when it burned. And you said something about a picture.
Well, of all the fires that we've had, we were called in for it. The other crew, the ones that lost it. And I don't know why that happened. We've had some pretty good ones and we called out for them, but the uptown Newberry's, when that burnt, the hardware store on one side and the drugstore on the other side, they didn't have no trouble. But I was up on the roof. I was trying to get a hole in that roof so we could put a cellar nozzle down in there. That cellar nozzle throws the spray all around everywhere. It's got plugged the holes in it. And I seen them boys chopping on that thing, and I told them to get off of it because every time they had chopped down, that thing was getting ready to fall in. Whole street was down there on Madison Street at the corner where they had the rope across there, telling the people how bad the fire was. That son of a bitch never done nothing. I tell you, that was something.
Did you ever have any close calls while you were a fireman?
For what?
For getting hurt?
No, I got a piece of glass in my boot one time, fell out of a window. And the sharp part went right. Didn't hurt nothing. I pulled a piece of glass out, but it was a big piece. But it got a little blood in my boot. That's only. There was one boy that used to like to get some attention. Earhart. Every time they'd go to a fire, that bastard had to go to the hospital. He had to go somewhere. He had got too much smoke and never was inside. I never could get over that. He was a pretty good kid, but he was. That's about all he'd done.
Well, I remember you were the one that kind of got him on the fire department.
Well, well, yeah. He was pretty good to start with, but then pretty soon he got just done. He couldn't go that restaurant way out there on Highway 50 before the new highway was in. I forget who that was out there. They got a little fire out there. And he was laying in the middle of the street, holding a hose, throwing a hose on that fire. He got his name in the paper, too much smoke. I tell you, it was comical.
Well, Raymond, your father, even though he was blind in one eye, wasn't he an avid reader? He used to read books all the time over at the Capitol?
Well, he took care of a bunch of books and maybe files or something like that. If anybody come down once, he knew where it was. He'd get it for him.
And how old was he when he passed away?
He was 95.
Mm-hmm. And what was his first name?
Fred.
Who did he work for at the Capitol?
Well, he started working over there for John Sullivan. John Sullivan was from Sedalia.
I see. Was Sullivan a representative at that time or a senator?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell he was, do you?
That wasn't the fire chief you were talking about.
No.
So, when did your dad move to Jeff City? Is that what
don't know when he moved here. No, that ain't what brought him here.
Oh, okay.
He used to come here when he met this gal over here. There was a little store up there on Broadway where Truman Building is.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little store there, and she worked in there, and he went in there to sell these brooms, and that's what happened. But that Truman Building, to put his damn name back under there, you can't see it. People want to come town and see Truman Building, they couldn't find it. That's funny. Why in the hell didn't they put it up there? There's a good place up there to put a name. But they've got it back under there. You got to get down on your knees and look under there to see it.
Did you ever see Truman?
Yeah. Truman. Well, let's see. Truman was working in Kansas City. Well, he was working there pretty early because I was working up there for the Badger Lumber Company. And I don't know when. That was before 1920. I was working up there for Badger Lumber Company.
Was that after you left the expressway office? I mean, you were in Kansas City for a short while when you were worked for that Railway Express.
Well, I didn't. When I was up there, I didn't. I worked so many different places. I've got them all screwed up now.
Did you meet Truman there? Or just,
No, I didn't meet him. No, he worked in a
haberdashery? Or
yeah.
did you ever see him go by or anything?
No.
Okay. Now, were you ever in the National Guard?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. Do you have any idea why you lived to this age?
No, I can't answer that one. It's too daggone long. I can't hardly walk. But I can drive better than I can walk. They took me off of driving.
Oh, yeah?
Afraid I was going to wreck something.
What about your years in the Drum and Bugle Corps?
Yeah.
Well, I was in all of it till World War II come along, and then we couldn't find nobody to keep it going. And World War II, we couldn't get enough people to make it up again. I've got the picture of me in there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
You used to go with the old airport and practice.
I got the whole
Is it
bunch
hanging on the wall?
Yeah.
Can I go get it?
Yeah.
Put it on the camera here.
Right on this back wall here. You can go.
It's in the other room, Raymond, on through there.
Oh, here it is, back in this bedroom there. Right here to your right now.
Oh, I see it, yeah. I'll give it to you, and then
I was head man in this too. Some cause or other.
okay, I can see it now.
Well, how do you want it?
Oh, that works pretty good. Just tell me about the Drum and Bugle Corps there.
Well, we were champions at one time. The last move we made, we won the championship. But we went to Kansas City the first time, and I forget who the music man was, but he was a bugler. And it was raining that day, that night, and he come up with that bugle, you know. And when he come up, throwed his mouthpiece behind him, you know, and he couldn't blow. We had a hell of a time that night. We scored pretty good, but I don't know, we made several mistakes there. But we made, Colonel Linksweiler used to follow us around, see that we were dressed right.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he went for everything. Yeah.
Yeah. You weren't necessarily in the military when you were in this drum and bugle corps?
No. Mm-mm.
Who started it?
You know, I don't know, but it started from the, wait a minute here. I was going to tell you one of them boys that was went with me down to St. Louis. Well, he made this picture. He put this picture together for me, and now, damn, his name ain't even on here. Now I can't think of it. John.
Did you play for special occasions in town here?
Yeah, we went several different places here in Missouri. Wherever they had something going on, they'd have us come down there for the parade or something like that. But
I always thought a lot of them were World War I veterans that were in that corps. Is that right, Raymond?
oh yes, yeah.
And what did you play in that?
Drum.
Drum?
That's me there. The two on the end is can I take some of this and go pee?
Okay, let me stop it for you here.
I can put an ear, think of that fella's name out there that knows, that fixed up them fire trucks. But I'm damn if I can't call it.
Well, I always remember Harry Griffith was in this drum and bugle corps.
Harry Griffin's on there, ain't he?
Yeah, I'm looking for his name on the back.
Oh.
Was there anything you'd change if you had to do over again?
I wouldn't know how to go about it. I don't know. I guess maybe the one job that I could have taken. I worked for the Western Electric Company, and we were going around fixing these telephone offices, installing wires around and putting in new places for the girls to sit. I don't know what I call it now. And what the hell was I going to say about that?
Western Electric or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I should have stayed on that job. I got what we were doing. There was 5 of us in my bunch that, well, whatever we done up there, the 5 of us was doing it. Mm-hmm. And some of the other fellows was doing something that they were doing. But we got paid the work that we were doing if we got it done, and they didn't have to inspect it and tear it up and go over it again. If there was any money left of that, it was going to cost so much, we got the money. Mm-hmm. I think $54 was the highest I got, or whatever it was. But I could have stayed with that job, and hell, we went to Miami, went to Nashville, went to New Orleans. Mm. We was around several different places, and I quit.
That was back in the 1920s?
It had to be, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I told him I had to go home. My dad was sick. And the boss said, well, when you can get loose, you hurry and get back, because I want you to come back. I never did go back. That was a plumb silly thing. That was the best job I ever. Well, this job, man, they're making money now.
Oh yeah.
I got $200 a month pension. For 31 years, I've used that. I got a $100 raise here a couple of years ago. They wanted to give the women folks the next year. Mm-hmm. And I got in on that. Now they're getting over $1,000.
Oh,
Just retired. Oh, see.
Yeah, that Clarence Beck that you spoke of, he and his wife have moved out to Oak Tree Villa.
Yeah.
Out there by Dooley's.
Yeah, I've got to go by and see him. I keep, him and Fred both call me, and I don't know, I can't. I come in if I'm working out at the funeral home. I'll come in, get out of them daggone clothes, and sit down here and start to read and go to sleep. I don't go and see nobody. I don't try to go anywhere.
Do you still work at the funeral home?
Yeah.
Still working at 98, huh?
Yeah. They won't turn me loose. He come in, you see, they sold out. And this fella that's got it now is pretty nice people. And he was there and seen he's seen the folks there a time or two, and I wasn't there because he was there when there wasn't no funeral.
What do you do at the funeral home?
Well, I help them. I'll be on the door for the time that they're showing them, and and then I'll help them get the party ready so they can take them to church. Then I'll clean up the place. So I've got plumb down to janitor now. I'm doing all right. If I'd have quit before that, I could have said I was something else. Now I've got a good job.
And we're going to have to run, I'm afraid, here.
Well, I'll bet you I haven't done you very much good, but I don't know what I had fun out of it anyhow.
Well, we sure appreciate you giving us the time.